Friday. It's hump day. We're getting through it. I am just sort of tired. Not exhausted, just slightly tired. I had my interview with Johnny Frank of Bill Murray this morning. That was a fun time. It lasted about 10 minutes. I made sure that I followed the time restraint that I had. You should have seen the instructions that I got in order to do this interview. 10 minutes maximum. They had to monitor it. They had to give me 5 minutes remaining, 2 minutes remaining warnings. They had to do a whole bunch of stuff. They also have to approve it before they send it back to me. Like, I didn't. This was the first time I wasn't in charge of the Zoom call. They were. And I'm still waiting on them to send that interview back to me so I can post it on our YouTube at KBear101RMG. If you want to get a hold of me, you can over at 208-535-1015. If you were listening this morning at 7:05 during the Victor Wilt Show, you would know what time we're going to play the secret sound powered by the Advocates. Could be this hour, so stay tuned. It might be happening here shortly. For those listening to the podcast version of this show, I'm not going to be having that as part of the show. Sorry, it's just too much of a hassle to do so. If you ever want to revisit any previous show of Peach's Pit Party, you can always find it on demand wherever you get your podcasts, or you can just simply go to peachespitparty.transistor.fm or riverbendmediagroup.com and click on podcasts. The latest from Papa Roach, Wake Up Calling. Don't forget the pre-sale is tomorrow. The password is last resort, all capital letters, no spaces. In order to get into the pre-sale, buy your tickets if you want. We'll be doing a bunch of giveaways involving the show. If you weren't tuned in at all yesterday, or if you've been under a rock for the past couple of days, Papa Roach set it off, and Autumn Kings got announced for the Portneuf Health Trust Amphitheater in Pocatello. It's going to be happening July 23rd. K-Bear 101 presents the entire show. It's going to be a great time. Obviously, we'll be doing a bunch of ticket giveaways. One of them will be starting soon, as a matter of fact, so be on the lookout for that. We'll send out a push notification via the K-Bear 101 app. Make sure you have that downloaded as well. Excited for the first rock show to happen here in the area, and it's right during the peak of summer, July 23rd. Gonna be a fun time. I was thinking about this earlier today. Actually, it's been on my mind for the past couple of months. Why is it that when you go to a pizza place, they really emphasize hand-tossed? Like, who cares if it's hand-tossed? Whatever. But then I'm like, there has to be something to it. Well, from pizzawallas.com, is that it? Is that the website? ThePizzaWallas.com. It was telling me the difference between hand-tossed and pan pizza. It's basically, do you go for the light, airy hand-tossed pizza or the indulgent golden brown pan pizza? I didn't even realize there was such a difference. I thought pizza was just pizza. I thought there was just regular crust, stuffed crust, and that dreadful thin crust. I thought that was it. Regular crust, stuffed crust, thin crust. Obviously, I choose stuffed crust every time. Pure, big back activity. You know, you gotta have filling in that crust. That, or if I just have the regular crust, I gotta douse it in ranch. I feel like a boomer when talking about this, but I honestly really dislike going into a fast food restaurant and having to order via the kiosk. I would much rather just walk up to the counter and order that way. The old-fashioned way, I would say. Yeah, there was a fight on Facebook that I was having with somebody because I was talking about how I walked into a certain fast food restaurant and nobody helped us. They were all worried about the drive-thru. And it was very frustrating because it was me and like a group of students from a particular school in the lobby just waiting. And then we eventually just started using the kiosks because nobody would be like, "Hi, how are you today? What can I get for you?" That type of thing. Like, they still have the register up front. If they really only wanted you to order at the kiosk, wouldn't they just have a sign that says that kind of thing? That's how I feel about it. But also, like, I do use the app for fast food restaurants. I use their apps. I have a good amount of those fast food apps on my phone, unfortunately. I have a whole folder dedicated to them. I believe it's called, like, FBA, Fat Boy Association, or something like that. But I was reading here about how In-N-Out Burger They plan on not having the mobile orders or mobile pickup, or even having people order via the kiosk. Lindsay, who is the granddaughter of the founder, she is the CEO. Is that her official title? She said, "No, we're not putting those in place. We're not going to do mobile order. We're not going to do pickup." I can only imagine how bad that would be because, In-N-Out's always crowded. No matter what time of the day it is, it's always bad. Always bad. There's one opening up in Twin Falls, and it's right there by the bridge, and there's already a Swig right next door. That place is going to be a nightmare. You got to have the biggest parking lot possible, and I'm really hoping that In-N-Out makes its way over here. And if it does, people are going to complain about it, call it overrated, talk all this trash on Facebook, but you best believe that drive-through line is going to be like 10 hours long. It's going to be ridiculous. People lining up the old-fashioned way to get their order taken, I should say. Here's Beartooth with Free on Peach's Pit Party. It's KBR 101. The first major golf tournament of the year, the Masters, gets underway Thursday, and while the Augusta National Country Club has loosened things up by allowing featured holes to be streamed all day and also bringing in Prime Video to stream early action on Thursday and Friday, it has kept its broadcasters, CBS and ESPN, on a short leash with what they can say on air. Terms that broadcasters can't use include fans, their patrons, rough, that grass is called the second cut, sand trap, those can only be called bunkers, and also fourth round, it's the final round, thank you. The NBA All-Star Dunk Contest has kind of been a bust in recent years, but Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal believes there's still something to be made from jamming the ball through the hoop. He's teamed up with TNT Sports for Dunkman, the first professional dunking league. This summer's inaugural season will feature 24 skilled dunkers competing live across 4 events. Finalists will compete for a world championship title and a grand prize of $500,000. The projected number 1 pick in this year's NFL draft, Fernando Mendoza, is not planning to attend the event in Pittsburgh on April 23rd. The Las Vegas Raiders hold the first choice. And if they pick the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, he will be the first number 1 pick not in attendance since Trayvon Walker in 2022. The number of players attending the draft has dropped since the pandemic, with a record low of just 12 players in Cleveland in 2021. At last year's draft in Green Bay, 17 prospects attended. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on KBR 101. Peach's Pit Party on KBR 101. People are still, in fact, talking about the McDonald's CEO. Nobody could have told you what his name was prior to that viral video of him trying the new Big Arch Burger. It was back in February 4th. Back on February 4th, he released that video, and that's when people were like, they were laughing at him because he took such a small bite out of it, and he clearly didn't enjoy the burger. And it was more so people wanting to prove that these heads of companies don't even try their own product. They just feed poison to the general public, that kind of thing. But apparently there's an article now that it's April 8th, this much time later, that the McDonald's CEO had to say, "No, I'm not a secret vegetarian." Again, if you were to ask me before that video, who's the CEO of McDonald's, I wouldn't have had a clue. But hey, if he was a vegetarian and somehow, some way, he's been hiding it all these years, good for him. When I worked at In-N-Out, my store manager was a vegan. His wife would prep him a vegan lunch in the middle of the day. And that guy was making bank too. All the In-N-Out managers make tons of money. I mean, honestly, if In-N-Out comes to the area and you're looking for a good paying job with a great future, I mean, you might as well apply there because they start you off great. You keep leveling up. They do a whole level system. You go from level 1 to 7, and then you have to go to management school and all of that. Or you become like I don't know if you go to In-N-Out University prior to becoming a third manager. I got to level 4, and that was working fries. I've talked about that many times. Fries was incredibly difficult. You had to make the perfect amount of fries. You didn't want to make too many. You didn't want to make too little. You had to read the crowd, and you had to analyze how many baskets you have to drop. It's a whole complex thing. I give so much respect to fast food workers because of my experience working there. Just makes me laugh, that story. Still people talking about the McDonald's CEO. I still think he might be. Well, I wouldn't think he's a hidden vegetarian. I just don't think he eats McDonald's food at all. You've seen the Carl's Jr. commercials of those models, eating those burgers. But when you see them real up close, like if you look at the burger up close in that commercial of like Charlotte McKinney taking a big bite of a Carl's Jr. burger, the whole burger is fake. It looks like there's already a bite taken out of it. There's no way a supermodel is eating anything close to Carl's Jr. Let's talk about something bright and cheery here, huh? What's an adult problem no one prepared you for? The top one I can relate to big time. No friends. Went from having too many to hardly any. I mean, you do have friends. You have the people you've known since middle school, high school. I've been friends with the same group of guys since middle school, but we're all in different parts of the country. My friend Zach, he's in Tennessee with his wife. They're about to have a baby in 2 months. So he'll be gone off the Discord call because, when you have to deal with a newborn baby, it takes all of your time. My friend Christian, he's still back in California, but he's looking to leave and move to Arizona. I'm up here in Idaho, out of all places. So yeah, that's really a big problem. You don't really get to see friends. You have to make them where you're at. Insurance for what's an adult problem no one prepared you for. No matter what kind, it's always a pain in the butt. Trying to deal with auto insurance, renter's insurance, life insurance. I keep getting these life insurance ads, and now that I'm talking about it, I'm sure I'll get a whole bunch more. The illness and death of parents, older generations in the family, all the legal stuff, the funeral, the allocation of assets, the financial strain, the mental strain, all of the above. I keep seeing my parents, I keep seeing pictures of them on Instagram, and I hate the fact that they look so much older now compared to how they used to be. I mean, my parents have looked relatively young, and they still look that way, but at the same time, it's like, oh, yeah, they're now 60 years old. 60. And I'm approaching 30, Thinking what to prepare for dinner after work every day. Oh, I just went home on my lunch break because I was thinking about going to some place, maybe go through a drive-thru, but I was like, wait, I have a Subway sandwich in my fridge. I'll just eat that. But then I was planning to eat that for dinner tonight, so now I threw that out of the window, and I don't know what I'm going to do for dinner. I still have that potential plan with that one guy who's coming up to visit maybe, but I want to not necessarily go out to dinner past 8 p.m. I don't know what I'm going to do. Good question here. I might have to ask this to each their own during the 4 p.m. hour. K-Bear 101, I would say this entire group, this entire family qualifies for the geniuses of the day. I was reading here about how this parents of this toddler, they were walking away from where their kid was at. Overall, the story is that this toddler got hurt by a wolf at Zoo America. And now the parents are being charged with child endangerment, and there's video footage of these parents. They both walked about 25 to 30 feet away from the child to a seating area with benches and appear to be paying attention to their cell phones when they noticed what was happening shortly afterward, And I was like, well, if you have a toddler, clearly your attention should be on the kid. You should not be like just focusing on checking in at the zoo on Facebook kind of thing. But also, back when I was a toddler, I don't think I was all that dumb to get near an animal. Supposedly, this kid squeezed through. The child went through a small opening in a wooden barrier perimeter fence and entered a restricted area near the wolf exhibit. The child reached a chain link fence enclosure and was hurt after placing a hand through it. Okay, so see, as a kid, I never put my hand through a chain link fence, especially when there's wolves on the other side. From the injury sustained, it appears as though one of the wolves in the enclosure instinctively and naturally grabbed onto the child's hand with its mouth. Several bystanders intervened and helped pull the child away. And of course, the parents, what are they doing? They're probably still on their phones. Oh, we're so sorry. We got sidetracked. Oh, yeah, true. They deserve to be charged. Again, geniuses of the day right here. That wasn't even a funny story. That was just sad. Made me irritated. Let's just do some turnstile. The K-Bear 101 Secret Sound, powered by the Advocates, is still going on. Our prize pot just reached $201. Lisa guessed it incorrectly. She guessed a self-inking stamp. You can find all the incorrect guesses through the form on the K-Bear 101 app. You can also find that same form on the Alt app, the Cannonball 101 app. It'll take you to this page. You open up the app, open up the menu, click on Secret Sound, and boom, there's the page of all the incorrect guesses, eventual clues that we'll add there, as well as a form to be called. If you want to have us call you, that could happen as well. We could call you. If you don't answer, we'll just move on to somebody else. And, well, if you guess the sound incorrectly, $25 more will get added to the prize pile. You can always see the current jackpot by visiting that same form, the K-Bear 101 Secret Sound, powered by our good friends at the Advocates Injury Attorneys. Don't forget tomorrow morning, 7:05. That's when Victor will give you the hours that day we'll play. It's a fun game. I love it. Every single year, it's the absolute best. Let's go with the plot in you. You get one on Peach's Pit Party. Peach's Pit Party on K-Bear 101. I was listening to Victor this morning, and he was saying how the Idaho's Best Awards, well, the first night of two, the awards ceremony happened last night. It's also happening again tonight. Are they going to announce all the results after tonight's ceremony? I would like to know, did K-Bear 101 win Idaho's Best for the entire state or just the region? The one major gripe that I have with this award, Idaho's Best, is that they only do morning shows, because for some reason in radio, the morning show slot is the best slot. And you would think it would be one of the worst, because you have to wake up so dang early for these morning shows, but then yet again, you are waking up with everybody else. You get the most people tuning in the morning, but then I have those people tuning in when they're getting off of work and all of that. I feel like the afternoon would be much better, right? Well, it's like, do you want to sleep in and work later in the day, or do you just want to get your shift over with? Because I've heard from these other radio DJs who do morning shows across the country that they wake up at like 1:30 in the morning because some of these shows are syndicated. So they have to get there that early because their show goes on in New York City, even though they're based out of LA. So there's a 3-hour time difference and all of that. I just can't imagine going to bed at 5 p.m. and waking up at 1:30. You'd miss out on a regular dinner. You'd miss out on, just overall fun with your family post 5 p.m. You're like, I got to go to bed, you guys. I got to be up at 1:30 and exit out the house in a quiet fashion. Otherwise, I'll wake everybody else up, and that'd be the worst thing possible. The morning show, it would be fun to be a part. Here's the thing. It would be great to have my name be a part of Idaho's Best, but I've already won the ISBA back in 2023 for the best non-morning show personality, Peach's Pit Party. I have that award back at my place. I wish, again, Idaho's Best would cater to those afternoon shows so I could compete against every other afternoon show here in the area and just beat them all, because clearly I'm the best. I'm kidding. I'm really bad. You remember the good old days of Google back when you would search something and the top result would be the best result, but now in 2026 we have Google's AI overview that takes up the top part of the search results screen, and then below that are a bunch of sponsored links, companies that paid money to have their link pop up at the top. Well, I just wanted to let you know that testing suggests Google's AI overviews tell millions of lies per hour. Millions of lies per hour. I've posted memes about how awful Google's AI overview is. There's this really... I don't know if I can even talk about this. I mean, I'll try my best to work my way around it. John Lennon... AI overview said, no, John Lennon did not wish he had given birth to Yoko Ono, but he did say that his relationship with her was the most important thing in his life. And then Google AI overview went further to provide the quote from an interview back on December 20th, 1969 with Alan Smith. John Lennon says, explicitly, I regret that Yoko Ono wasn't my child. I don't like the idea of her being born in somebody else's... That's one of my great jealousies. It's a drag that she was in somebody else's, but I can't do anything about it. This this post isn't about how insane John Lennon was. It's about how Google has spent gazillion dollars making a machine that lies to you about John Lennon's, weird fantasies. John Lennon was a weird person, man. I like the Beatles, but the more I learn about John Lennon, I'm like, ugh. What a weirdo, dude. Anyway, let's play some Poppy. Time will tell. Motionless in White, Afraid of the Dark on K-Bear 101. You know what's funny? Before we get to today's What the Headline, that will be funny. What's funny in a sad way is that Motionless in White dropped Afraid of the Dark at the end of February, and it's still outstreaming everything else released this year on the rock charts. Since it is the biggest rock metal track that has dropped in 2026, Victor says, I think that you programmers can go ahead and add it already. No need to be afraid of something a little heavy when it's that popular. You know, there was a time where I think Victor told me there's only 5 radio stations that had played or are playing Motionless in White's new track, Afraid of the Dark. Obviously, we're playing it in the highest rotation possible. A lot of people accuse us of not playing certain bands, and it's like, no, we do. We play The Plot in You. We play all these modern bands. Just because you don't hear them when you're listening for 20 minutes out of the day doesn't mean we don't play them, that kind of thing. Just wanted to point that out. Victor's so funny when he posts, too. He does it in such an old man way. Like, he took a screenshot of his Facebook status and then took that screenshot and put it on our K-Bear page and tagged Motionless in White, talking about how radio programmers need to step it up elsewhere. But I'm glad we're the rock station that stands out in a good way. So anyway, here's today's What the Headline. An American Airlines flight out of Charlotte, North Carolina was delayed for about an hour this week due to a swarm of bees gathered inside one of the plane's engines. A passenger captured video as beekeepers and airline crews carefully removed the bees and placed them into a box for safe relocation. Once the bees were cleared, the flight continued on to San Francisco, arriving about an hour behind schedule. Some people on social media applauded the airline for saving the bees, while others suggested they would have just flown away once the plane started moving. Others didn't care and said the engine could have just sucked them up. I would have been one of those people. I feel like, you know, people are saying save the bees, and I'm kind of, I don't know, I feel like there's enough bees still out there, all right? People are always saying the bugs are disappearing, but I feel like every single time I drive on the highway, whether it's to Rexburg, Pocatello, there's tons of bugs all over the front of my car. What do you mean the bugs are disappearing? They're probably disappearing because I'm running them over, not even realizing it, you know? Every single time I drive, it feels like I just committed mass genocide of a certain species of bugs. I mean, they're all over the window, all over the hood, everywhere. Anyway, that's today's What the Headline right here on K-Bear 101. I love the fact that Victor is learning about Gen Z slang. We're learning a lot from Maddie from down the hall. Even I am not caught up to date on most of these terms. I mean, I know some of them. I know the basic ones. This stupid meme popped up on my Facebook feed. I noticed Gen Z people don't carry umbrellas. They just walk in the rain. I don't think I've ever really carried an umbrella. I don't think I even own one. Do I? No, yeah, of course, I don't. And so someone responded to this saying it's called aura farming. We learned what that is, you know, like kind of like, what was it? What's the exact definition of it again? It's like being cool, you know, showing off they have a cool aura, that kind of thing. I took a picture of Victor. I just walked into his office earlier today, just took a picture of him behind his desk. He's like, what are you doing, Peaches? I'm like, well, watch this. I told ChatGPT to make him extremely buff, and I put it on his Facebook, calling him the AMOG of the group. You know what that is? The alpha male of the group. I was like, the AMOG at work. Oh, the funniest word we learned was chud. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, if you want to listen to the previous noon hour of Madness and Mayhem, if you want to listen to that specific episode, I should say, because I think we did that one yesterday, you can find it on demand wherever you get your podcasts, places like Spotify, Apple, etc., riverbendmediagroup.com. Click on podcasts, search the noon hour of Madness and Mayhem wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to what I was just talking about there. Let's do some Breaking Benjamin right now. Red Cold River on Peach's Pit Party. You know what? They got to stop doing Easter egg hunts in Southern California. I talked about that story 2 days ago about how they found body parts or remains of a human in Long Beach, California. Investigators confirm human skull found at L.A. Park. Is this the same story? Because I know Long Beach is technically L.A. County. No, this is different. This is a whole different... No, wait. Oh, it is Long Beach. Okay, I was about to say, is this another one popping up? It wouldn't surprise me, though. Like, don't get me wrong. I may be from California. I don't pretend like it's the greatest place on planet Earth. I know there's plenty of horrible parts about it. There's a bunch of reasons why I left Southern California. I mean, I mostly came out here for my job that I'm currently doing. That's besides the point. I'm just saying, you know, there's plenty of... I wanted to get out of Southern California regardless of where I ended up at. You know, I was planning on moving to Texas, go live out there, work part-time at In-N-Out, try to get a radio job out there. Luckily enough, right as I was about to hit apply in an apartment, Jade hit me up and said, hey, middays on K-Bear 101 opened up, and that's how I got my start here. Southern California, it has its great parts, don't get me wrong, but also has its horrible parts too. You know, if you go to Dockweiler Beach, there's so many syringes in the sand. I was talking to Daniel from sales down the hall, and he was telling me, like, what's the safest beach in Southern California to go to? And I really had to think about it. I couldn't say all of them, and that's sad. I really had to be like, well, if you want to go travel a bit, you can go towards Laguna Beach, go towards San Diego. It's nicer down there, but if you go to the beaches in LA like Santa Monica, you're going to be exposed to a lot. Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, aka Brendan Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.